Coming up on Mountain News this morning, one Eastern Kentucky sheriff is without a staff this morning after his proposed budget is rejected. And Attorney General William Barr is under fire this morning following controversy about an ongoing federal case. And officials are searching for suspects following recent vandalism at the Red River Gorge.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning. The time is 6:31 on February 14th. I'm Madison Pergram, and thank you for joining us on Mountain News This Morning. Happy Valentine's Day. Happy Friday. You've made it through your work and school week. Let's go to Brandon Robinson because he has some good news for you this morning. The first probably good news day or weather day in a long time.
Exactly. You see those banners on those that radar behind me, Madison?
Clear.
They're blue. They're not red anymore. So we're out of SWAD. We're out of all that mess, and we're dry this morning. Maybe a few snowflakes flying. Let's take a look and see what's going on across the region, and we're seeing a little bit of action up toward Jackson. I actually saw, we were watching a live shot from Lexington earlier, and they were seeing a little bit of snowflake activity up that way as well. So some snowflakes, maybe a brief snow shower possible this morning, and some slick roads. It is cold out there this morning, folks. 19 Moorhead and Irvin. It is 25 in Jackson and Hazard, Prestonsburg 2, Harlan as well, 23 in London, 24 in Pikeville. So it is frigid. You factor in a wind chill, feels like teens across the area. So again, a bundle up type day. App forecast today, you can download that for free in the App Store. Clouds and maybe flurries in slick spots early, and then temperatures climb with some sunshine, but only to about 32 later today. I'll have the rest of the forecast coming up in a little bit. Madison.
Thank you, Brandon. Well, no approved budget means no money and layoffs for the Breathitt County Sheriff's Department. WYMT's Lacey Roberts talked with both the sheriff and judge executive about how they will be moving forward.
A workday that took an unexpected turn.
My deputies will have to stay home.
Deputy vehicles parked at the courthouse until further notice.
Our biggest part of the tax season is come and gone, our collections, and we just cannot operate without our budget.
The job of the fiscal court is to go through each line item of the budget, making sure it adds up. And Judge Executive Jeff Noble says it did not.
I actually got my first copy of the budget from the sheriff's office on January 26th that evening.
The judge executive says the budget was to be approved by January 15th. Noble says a vote was postponed at the next fiscal court meeting on the 28th. And he says he then met with the sheriff's financial clerk. There were questions that still needed answers.
It's not left to me to pass the budget. That's the fiscal court's duty. I'm just one member of it.
Now, with no deputies, office personnel, or court security, some worry about the safety of the county.
When you start cutting back on your law enforcement, it's proven fact that crime usually goes up.
Yet, both Sheriff Holland and Judge Noble are confident about the safety of the community.
Good state policemen in here, good bunch of city police guys. They're going to pitch in and help all they can.
I'm putting a plan together right now to try to, have a volunteer county patrol, just for the safety of all of our citizens.
The Breathitt County Fiscal Court will hold a special meeting on Monday at 11 a.m. to review the budget. In Breathitt County, Lacey Roberts, WYMT Mountain News.
Now, State Representative Clustered Howard addressed the issue in Breathitt County. He said, quote, "It is unfortunate that the citizens of Breathitt County are being put in jeopardy because local officials have not been able to work together. It is imperative that our elected officials resolve this issue so that the citizens of Breathitt County can be assured of their safety." And Attorney General William Barr is defending his actions and taking aim at President Trump's tweets. In an interview with ABC News, Attorney General William Barr pushed back on criticism of the case involving President Trump's longtime ally, Roger Stone, who was convicted on 7 federal charges. And despite calls from Republican allies to refrain from talking about ongoing cases, the president continues to tweet about the Stone case.
To have public statements and tweets made about the department, about cases pending in the department, and about judges before whom we have cases, make it impossible for me to do my job.
The White House defended the president's use of Twitter and says he's not bothered by Barr's interview, comments and has full faith and confidence in the Attorney General. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell also reacted to the interview, telling Fox News he thinks the president should listen to Barr. And a bipartisan majority of senators have voted to limit the president's ability to use military action against Iran. The Senate passed a war powers resolution Thursday that would require the removal of U.S. armed forces from hostilities against Iran within 30 days, unless approved by Congress. 8 Republican senators crossed party lines to vote in favor of the resolution, sponsored by Virginia Senator Tim Kaine.
We have a special obligation to make sure that we deliberate and deliberate carefully before we send troops into harm's way.
The Senate version now moves over to the Democrat-controlled House, where it could pass by the end of the month. President Trump is expected to veto the resolution if it reaches his desk. And former White House Chief of Staff John Kelly spoke about the firing of Lieutenant Colonel Alexander Vindman Wednesday night. The Atlantic reports that Kelly defended Vindman, raising concerns about President Trump's July call to Ukraine's president. Kelly said he did the right thing when he reported the call. Vindman was fired as White House national security aide last week. And back here at home, the investigation into what caused a crash that left 3 people dead yesterday continues this morning. It happened on the stretch of US 150 between Mount Vernon and Broadhead in Rockcastle County. Officials say one vehicle swerved into an opposite lane, sideswiping one vehicle and hitting another head-on. Police do not believe drugs, alcohol, or distracted driving were factors at this point. And one person is dead after a head-on crash in Paintsville. Police say the crash happened yesterday morning on Kentucky Route 40. Robert Mead of Hager Hill was driving eastbound when his car hydroplaned, causing him to slide into oncoming traffic, hitting another car. The Johnson County coroner pronounced him dead at the scene, and the driver and passenger in the second car were taken to a nearby hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. And 3 people were hurt in a fight at a home in Ashland last night. The fight ended with 2 juveniles being stabbed and another injured. Police say as many as 10 to 20 people were reported at the home during the time of the fight. One of the people who was stabbed is in serious condition. The other is being treated for a serious injury. Investigators are still collecting evidence at this time, and no word on what led to the altercation. And the U.S. Forest Service is hoping to find out who vandalized the historic Nada Tunnel and some restrooms in the Red River Gorge. Chelsea Jones has more.
A treasured monument in the Red River Gorge, the Nada Tunnel is more than 100 years old, but something has been added in recent weeks.
The vast majority of people don't do this, but unfortunately it only takes 1 or 2 to cause a lot of damage.
Spray painted graffiti on the old railroad tunnel and also in the bathroom at the end of Tunnel Ridge Road.
I always like to tell people it's like taking a page out of a history book and throwing it away, because it could have irreparable damages.
Not only is it frustrating, it's also costly. Thousands of dollars have been spent in the past fixing other cases of vandalism, like the London shooting range that cost nearly $50,000 to repair. But Tim Ealing, who works for the Daniel Boone National Forest Supervisor's Office, says vandalism happens all the time. People setting fires, pulling things out of the ground, and shooting at signs.
If we have to replace it, that's $1,000. And then there's often 2. That's, one on each side. That's $2,000.
Money, he says, that can be spent on maintaining the forest.
We have picnic tables that rot, signs that fade.
Forest officials are now looking at ways to fix the damage.
There are a few products out there that can help you to scrub it off.
And catch whoever is responsible. I'm Chelsea Jones, WYMT Mountain News.
Now, anyone with information about the graffiti in the Red River Gorge is asked to contact the Daniel Boone National Forest.
Cold start to this morning, but dry across the area. Some slick spots possible as the rain that fell yesterday may have frozen if it didn't evaporate in the overnight hours, but the wind cranking has helped out a lot with that. So just be careful this morning. Some school closings and delays on the bottom of your screen there and at WYMT.com. 19 Moorhead, Irvin, Danville, 28 Middlesboro. Everybody else kind of falling in between, and temperatures will drop for a little while longer before we start to see those stabilize and start their trek back upward. Feels like the teens when you factor in the wind chill, single digits in Monticello and Moorhead this morning. So max amount of coffee needed today. Keep it flowing because it's going to be a cold day all day long as we only get up to right around freezing, but the sun will be out, and that's some good news, especially for those folks who have been affected by flooding over the last week or so. Madison.
Thank you, Brandon, and thank you for joining us on Mountain News this morning. Coming up, how people in Powell County are showing their respect today in honor of a Stanton police detective. And an astronaut and her dog are reunited after almost 1 year apart.